Hello, thank you for clicking on this video. My name's Dan, aka Luscent Music, and today I'm going to be reacting to Lady Gaga's full Chromatica interview with Zane Lowe. Before we get started, subscribe to my channel for all things pop music and all things songwriting. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this interview has in store. I haven't actually listened to any of it yet because I didn't want spoilers. I wanted to kind of make my own opinion of Chromatica, first time listen, without any other influences. Yeah, let's get going.
How are you?
Whoa, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, me too. I've been waiting for this moment because, you know, I think the world
Seems
wants
they
to
have
hear
a really
this
good
album.
relationship.
I think
it's nice to have an interviewer that seems to know the artist and can really get in deep, I think.
My vision of Chromatica, which is to say that this is not dystopian and it's not utopian. This is just how I make sense of things.
That's really interesting to see how she's talking about this world inside her head. It's the fact that she said it's not dystopian and not utopian. It's not a future end of the world like a zombie dystopia, but it's also not a perfect imaginary world either. It's something in between. It's something very real.
You know, I can't wait to dance with people to this music. I can't wait to just go into any space with a whole bunch of people and blast this as loud as...
There are so many songs on this album that I would absolutely love to be able to go out and dance to right now. I can't wait for when the concert's finally going to happen.
And until then, I hope that they listen to this record and go on not only my personal journey with me and dance through all the pain, but also go through their own journey and
dancing through the pain, yeah.
And maybe there will be some arc within that sign that aligns us both. And so from afar, how can we connect?
The sign.
you know, you've danced before,
Ooh, okay.
and in fact, and I felt like until Chromatica and since Art Pop, you haven't been dancing. I'm sure you have, but it hasn't felt like you have with us. And I wonder why that was.
I don't know that I was dancing in my brain, in my heart. The truth is, I think that I was trying to make sense of my humanity within a system that is the music industry that decidedly is also objectifying.
The way the industry reacted to Art Pop and the problems that she seems to have with its release and everything and her management really seemed to have taken a toll on her. And maybe this album is like her kind of coming out of that darkness.
Through writing this album, I would be so sad, and then I would hear myself sound happy in a song, and I'd go, wait a second, this is completely incongruent, and yet it came from me. I've developed a fear of the public, but not a fear of people. I love people.
It's so interesting to see into her psyche there. It's almost like an agoraphobia that she can't go out in public, but it doesn't mean you don't love people. It doesn't mean you don't love connecting. Yeah, it's really interesting to see her headspace when she was going into writing this album. I think it explains a lot, actually.
This album is about like how did I get back to people, and how do I connect with people and go like, hey, I'm over here, I'm a person, I'm an artist.
And then we take your narrative away and we tell you this is what you wanted.
I really like to try and see the humanity in pop stars, and I think it's this kind of preconception that people who are successful and have lots of money are happy. That's not the reality so much of the time. And I think it's worth remembering that pop stars can get depressed. Doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter how big your mansion is. If you're the only person in there, then what's the point? And if fame brings you to a point where you can't be with people anymore, it's got to be so lonely. Despite the success, I think it's worth us remembering these things.
I'm also honest in being able to say, I wrote a song on Chromatica called 911, and it's about an antipsychotic that I take. And it's because
someone mentioned that in the comments.
Always control things that my brain does. I know that, and I have to take medication to stop the process that occurs. Keep my dolls in side diamond boxes, save it till I know I'm going to drop this front I've built around me. Oasis, paradise is in my hands, holding on so tight to this status. It's not real, but I'll try to grab it. Keep myself in beautiful places. Paradise is in my hands.
Wow. Interesting hearing her speak the lyrics out. I hadn't picked up on a lot of that stuff in 911, so it's almost like she's relying on this drug to save her life.
The first act starts with one of the most beautiful string arrangements that I've heard in a very, very long time.
Yes.
I mean,
thank you.
I'm getting goosebumps just describing it.
It makes me so
yes,
happy.
though I prefer
Me
the one
and
before
Morgan
Sign
made that.
from Above, number 3.
It's so incredible. Chromatica 1, what does that symbolize for you?
I think that the beginning of the album really symbolizes for me what I would call to be the beginning of my journey to healing. And I know that I have mental issues. I know that they can be sometimes rendering me non-functional as a human, but I radically accept that this is real, right? And so it goes right into this sort of like this grave string arrangement that Morgan and I made together, where you feel this sort of pending doom that is what happens if I face all the things that scare me.
So it's like foreshadowing for the rest of the album. I love albums that are structured in a way that set up a storyline, and as you follow it from start to finish, it's almost like a movie playing out. So this is the beginning of a journey to healing.
For Alice, I say my name isn't Alice, but I'll keep looking for Wonderland.
She's not giving up. She's going to start learning to heal because she's looking for Wonderland, which is that healing place.
And the first lyric on the album official is, "Could you pull me out of this alive?"
Yeah, I mean, I meant it,
Wow.
and I still mean it.
It starts from something internal, and is that ultimately what you're looking to be pulled out of? I mean, it's an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, but for me, it was like, pull me out of my mind, pull me out of my state.
Yeah,
It's like the hole. It's like she's fallen down the hole. Your kind of mental health is a black hole that you could fall into, and she's looking for somebody to pull her out of it alive.
Where's my body? I'm stuck in my mind. When I get stuck in that, like, that trauma response feedback in my brain, I have no concept of my body at all. I'm completely in my head. And then I say, I'm tired of screaming at the top of my lungs, things I used to do upstairs before I'd come down into the studio with Blood Pop.
Wow.
I'm in the hole. I'm falling down, so down. My name isn't Alice, but I'll keep looking for Wonderland. So it's kind of this, it's this weird experience where I'm going, I'm not sure I'm going to make it, but I'm going to try.
This extended metaphor of the whole Alice in Wonderland thing seems to make more and more sense. Down through the hole. And although she isn't Alice, she's going to still keep on looking for Wonderland and trying to find that healing.
I make sense of it by going, this is a mental issue. I radically accept that I have it. And although I feel completely disconnected and offline, I am still going to pursue Wonderland.
I love it when an artist really goes into this much detail. I find, as a songwriter myself, hearing people talk about how they make music is so inspiring for me.
I think back timeline-wise to Art Pop. Crazy.
It was too soon.
It was too soon. And that's what I was going to say. In a weird way, this feels.
Art Pop was very rebellious. I would not adhere to one look. I would adhere to every look. And when I, as an artist, raise my hand and go, I will not subscribe to any archetypical behavior just because it makes the world comfortable, they go, F you, I'm not comfortable. and to be honest, I went through a phase, which I
love the rebellious phase, though.
I mean, I gotta say, Zane, I've been in this business a long time. I've never seen so many producers be willing to pass around music and be like, what do you think, man? And have it be a conversation. And if we didn't use somebody's production, it was no big deal.
That seems like a really forward way of thinking about it and a really forward way of doing collaborations.
Everybody was in service of the song. I would sit on my porch and chain smoke all day. And Blood would be like, let's go downstairs and you need to get off your porch. I smoked the whole way through making this record. And when we were done, I stopped. This music actually healed me. And the last act,
really
of
beautiful.
the album is a song called Sign from Above, as you know, that I did with Elton, and a song called Babylon. And, we use a sign from above, S-I-N-E, because it's a sound wave. It's, that
Picked
sound,
up on that, mathematician.
Sign from above is what healed me.
Saying the music came from above, the sine wave came from above. She heard it and it healed her. That's what it's about, right? I love that. That's such a brilliant way to put it. And that really comes to such a beautiful conclusion, ends the album in such a beautiful way. Yeah, it really feels like we've followed this story of her being healed by making this music, which is like exactly what you want as a songwriter. That's what whenever I write songs, is to try and spin a positive out of a negative. Sometimes they end up getting quite dark, but that's only because that's exactly how I felt in the moment. But as soon as I've put it out there, as soon as I put pen to paper, it's processed. Just putting a new twist on a well-known way of making music.
Fun Tonight, which is a song that means a lot to me. And every time I listen to it, I get choked up because I can't tell you how many nights that people that really love me were trying to get me to smile or laugh or be optimistic. And I just had no ability to be happy.
I think I've been through that too, like where I was out drinking a lot, not really facing my depression at all. Yeah, and like a song like that just really, now I kind of know the context behind it. I can relate to it even more. I think the next time I listen to the album, it's going to have more impact for me.
But when we spoke around Joanne, you went home, and while you came out of that space, went into A Star Is Born, which like is just art imitating life. Don't even get me started. And then you sort of came out the other side of this whole era, which is supposed to be healing, and found yourself on a porch chain smoking.
I realized, oh wow, okay. I made an album for my dad. I made a record trying to heal my family's trauma because my dad's sister, Joanne, passed away when he was 15 years old.
That's the thing I love most about the Joanne story, is the kind of family aspect, and to hear that even further her motivations behind making that album were to heal her family. It's really beautiful.
It was actually this really beautiful and yet futile effort. No matter how big I become, no matter how many sold out stadiums I have, I can't fix my dad.
Jesus. That's like so... You can't fix other people. People just... They are who they are, and their traumas make up who they are. You can't fix everyone. It's not your responsibility to fix everyone.
And then you're on the porch smoking.
Yeah.
And look, it's like... Those are the things that I feel like I go, who gives a shit if I'm a celebrity or an artist? How many people on the planet are trying to fix somebody they love? How many people on the planet are trying to understand how they can heal someone that is broken? How many people on the planet are enmeshed with people that they love because they are pining for a greatness that will never be fulfilled? Because I was like, well, if I can't fix my dad, what's the point?
So what put you back?
The sound, the music, being myself.
Sane.
Just seeing little glimpses of myself come alive here and there. I'd like to say that in a way I was asleep, and I was just sleeping through life.
And something that I resonate with quite a lot there, actually.
And then you find gratitude. Look at what I have. Look at the love I have around me. Look at the friends that I have that cared. And that love instilled in me a gratitude that grew over time, and it just made me more of a fighter. And I just started to lean into reality, lean into my mental issues and go, I have them and I'm still going. And so I kept going, and then I kept going, and then I kept going, and I kept dancing, and I kept writing.
Wow.
And I didn't stop, and I was honest every single time.
It's a real healing process,
when I tell
the whole
you that
album for her, I think.
Writing the lyrics for this album and the melodies, it was like that.
I love when a song comes like that to you. It's not overdone, it's not over... The lyrics aren't passed between 18 million people trying to change the word. They just come out, they're honest, they're right there. And I think that's the most honest reflection of a songwriter, is when it's kind of unedited and unchanged. Yeah, fleshing out ideas and fleshing out metaphors is beautiful, but it needs to come from this core of instant, because that flash of inspiration is the song. It really focuses songs in a way that other humans get it immediately, because that's the reality of the situation, is that everybody's the same. And that's what makes music so beautiful, is that one thing can be so personal in your soul, can come straight out of your mouth and can resonate with a million people that are going through the same thing.
One of my favorite lyrics on the album is, I heard one sign from above, I heard one sign from above, then the signal split in two, the sound created stars like me and you, before there was love, there was silence.
Before there was love, there was silence was like the lyric that just completely broke me down in that song, because it feels like I've been in that point in my life many times where you feel lonely, you're like going into this black hole in your head, but it's your love, not necessarily romantic, but love from friends, love from your family, that is the catalyst for your growth.
And it healed my heart, heard a sign. I love who I am. I love that my way of dealing with my father's pain is that I write songs.
That's so interesting to hear that, like, especially that with connected to what she said about Joanne, that being the instigation for her writing songs. I think for every artist, there's the reason, why did you start writing songs? Why was it? For me, I started writing songs to heal myself. And then that kind of then influences everything you do. Like, it's about creating things that allow you to frame your grief, allow you to frame your depression in a way that allows you to understand them and cope with them, and then put it out into the world like you're letting go. And like writing music to heal specific people, as she says, like it's not as simple as that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not worth it, because actually that music has brought joy to millions of people all over the world. She might not have healed her dad, but she's healed millions of people. She's helped so many LGBT people. I think I'll always be passionate about Lady Gaga, just because Born This Way came out just as I was learning about my own sexuality. It was such an important time for me, and her songs allowed me to be who I was, and have allowed me to grow up into a confident, out gay person. Like, so she may not have healed her dad, but she's helped so many other people.
Well, thank you, Ariana. She's not on the call with us, but her and I connected right away. Anything that you feel chains you, like any like pop cultural construct that you feel you have to live up to, I'd like you to please forget about it.
I wondered whether or not subconsciously, or maybe consciously, part of the reason you wanted to collaborate with her was because of the courage and the bravery that she has shown in recent years to try to pull herself out of some really traumatic experiences. And, in a weird way, what I hear in Rain on Me is two artists finding each other and sharing that experience.
Yeah, that's actually, thinking about like what Ariana's been through. I did draw a lot of comparisons between Rain on Me and No Tears Left to Cry. I think that the motivation behind writing the song is kind of similar. It's a positive song about having like cried out everything, Amazing to hear two people collaborating on the same emotional level and creating a song that works for both of them. I think when I first saw it, one of my first thoughts were, this is so Gaga, but it's so Ariana as well. And I think for all these reasons seem to have added up to a song that excels. It's the best of both worlds, I think.
And then this friendship blossomed, and the song Rain on Me, the lyrics that I wrote right here in this studio, I'd rather be dry, but at least I'm alive. Rain on me. This is about like an analog of tears being like the rain. And you know what it's also a metaphor for? Is like the amount of drinking that I was doing to numb myself. I'd rather be dry. I'd rather not be drinking, but I haven't died yet. I'm still alive. Rain on me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to keep on drinking. This song has many layers.
Shame is the stone cold destroyer of everything. And when you take yourself to
100%.
that place, then we search for anything that will distract us from our shame.
Wow.
And I wondered whether or not it got bad.
This is
the
deep.
drinking, and whether maybe medication or any other crutch came into your life, and how bad it got.
But part of my healing process was going, well, I can either lash the hell out of myself every day for continuing to drink, or I can just be happy that I'm still alive and keep going and feel good enough. Like, I am good enough. It's not perfect, but wabi sabi.
Just for clarification, if people don't know about the wabi sabi, it's the Japanese art of taking broken pottery and lacquering it with gold, so it's even more beautiful for its cracks. And personally, I've really been inspired by that musically as well. I think that music is showing your cracks and making something beautiful out of it, and that is what's really connecting with her music as well, especially with Rain on Me, because she's literally saying, I'm accepting the tears, I'm accepting the drink, I'm not perfect, but I'm alive and we're doing this and I'll be okay in the end, and I'm beautiful despite my flaws.
And I woke up this morning and the song that was rolling around in my head from this album, right, was Free Woman. That is the one that just stuck in my head so much. You've accepted, you've let go through Rain on Me, let go. I accept it. Now I feel some form of freedom. You know, that this is the dance floor I fought for. That whole lyrical refrain of that verse, from that line all the way to the chorus,
it's amazing.
Is one of the best bodies of words on the album, I think.
Free woman, because I was assaulted by a music producer. I was sexually assaulted by a music producer. It's compounded all of my feelings about life, feelings about the world, feelings about the industry, feelings about what I had to compromise and go through to get to where I am. And I had to put it there. And when I was able to finally celebrate it, I said, you know what? I'm not nothing without a steady hand. I'm not nothing unless I know I can. I'm still something if I don't got a man. I'm a free woman.
I'm a free woman,
so it's me going, I no longer am going to define myself as a survivor or a victim of sexual assault. Like, I just am a person that is free who went through some fucked up shit.
That's like so real. If you haven't seen my Chromatica reaction yet, go back and watch it. My immediate reaction to this song, Free Woman, was like so emotional. It kind of really struck a chord in me to different extents. We've all kind of gone through certain levels of trauma, and to come out the other side and be dancing, that's what the dance floor I fought for, that's what that feels like, you know. I'm here and I'm dancing and I'm happy because I've made it through, because I've made it through the dark times. For her to go through something so traumatic, it really goes to show why that song is so deep and why that song has such an emotional richness to it, because it's real. She went through something horrific and had to come out the other side. But the silver lining of that is that she's managed to make something so beautiful out of that in the end. That is the most beautiful thing about songwriting.
It's almost the perfect embodiment of what you're trying to achieve with this album, is to go so deep and so raw and pull it open and let it all go and get to a place of acceptance and move past it and grow as a human and get to a new era of your life. But I'm going to dance while I do it.
I say this is the dance floor I fought for. A heart, I know that's what I'm living for. Light up my body and kiss me too hardly. I walk the downtown, hear my sound. This is my way of saying, like, I'm making a dance record again, and this dance floor, it's mine, and I earned it, and all that stuff that I went through, I don't have to feel pain about it anymore.
That series of lyrics was just so beautiful. Like, right up until the kiss me too hardly. Like, it's just so passionate and so visceral. Like, I agree with Zane, that is the best part of the whole thing for me. That's the best part of the whole album lyrically for me, is that verse. It's just stunning.
It turns out, if you believe in yourself, sometimes you're good enough. It is possible that if you do, it will light you up in a way that you do not think you can be lit up. It will bring you back to life if you believe in yourself.
That's the center of all emotional healing. I agree with that totally. Like, music for me was a way of proving to myself that I was worth it, that I had something to offer, and it healed me in that way because it gave me self-belief. So I really do resonate with that sentiment.
I hope that I can make people feel in some type of way that because I did, maybe they can too.
Yeah. It's this real human thing that is actually global, and what makes real global music is when you get into the center of what it is to be human. That's love, that's, you know, grief, that's heartache, that's growth, that's all these things.
But it's a human desire to be loved and to love.
Yep.
And now that you've come out the other side of making this album, you are in a situation where you're discovering a new love.
I think I forgive myself. I forgive myself for all the ways I've punished myself in private. You know, I've been open about the fact that I, you know, used to cut. There are ways of expressing shame. There are ways of expressing feeling not good enough. But actually, they're not effective. They just make you feel worse. Now, when you want to hurt yourself and if you want to throw yourself against the wall, like, and scream, you tell someone. I wish to not glamorize this in any way to anyone that's listening to this interview or watching this interview. You do not need to hurt yourself or be crazy to be a superstar.
Well,
You don't have to. These are some of the things that I've been through. And then I stopped and I forgave myself eventually.
it's really kind of a dive into her psyche.
It's worth fighting for. You know, one of my favorite lyrics on this album is every single day,
Worth fighting for, yeah.
I dig a grave, then I sit inside it wondering if I'll behave. It's a game I play, and I hate to say you're the worst thing and the best thing that's happened to me. All this stuff that made me start the album with "Could you pull me out of this alive?" Right?
Yep.
All that stuff. That's exactly the stuff that pointed to my humanity. It's
Wow.
exactly the stuff that pointed to my ability to make music.
Taking something dark and making something light out of it and finding brightness and lightness out of it. That was very much something that I really discovered in my Stupid Love analysis. I've done a deeper songwriting analysis of Stupid Love. If you want to check that out, that really talks about this like turning darkness into light.
I've actually learned that when I feel that way, I can go, well, I'm a person. And this is very real. I can actually take it back by saying, no, I'm a human. And I go
That's
through
what this
very
is.
human things all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of this rediscovery of being human is so fascinating. And that's what the whole album's about. As a Lady Gaga fan, like this is exactly where I wanted her music to go.
You had to go through that pain to get there, but I'm glad you're back there, you know?
But I believe in a higher force. And I used to talk to Blood Pop about it. There's a theory that the whole world was created by a feminine sound wave. And then we believed in them and we divided. And then we started to argue and hate each other.
That's such an interesting way of seeing the world. Like, this is really starting to paint a picture of what Chromatica is. Like, she's got the sine wave in the emblem on the front of the album. There's a sign from above the song. It's all starting to really connect this whole narrative and this whole spiritual thing that she believes in, connects everything together under Chromatica.
How can I take something that's extremely painful for me and find the one piece of it that's universally human and help somebody else? And then let's see what it sounds like. What does it sound like?
There's a lot to really take from this kind of approach to making music. I think if you really start to dissect what does this feeling sound like for you, you can create something that is referential, but unique to you as well. And I think that's a real key way of making music that is unique and interesting and dynamic.
I made a choice, and the choice was not just to make this record for myself, it was to make it for the world.
You talked about not having a lot of strong, significant.
My rebellion in life is to be kind, like to almost an annoyance to people. And
It's like the kindness punk thing.
This idea that we need to cheer each other on, I don't think that we've witnessed a time in history where this has felt more important.
It's actually been amazing how under the threat of COVID, everyone has been trying to spread a positive message online and trying to kind of connect with people that you might not have connected with in a long time. It's really been wonderful that's kind of been such a silver lining on this whole situation.
My God, the kindness. My gosh. Everyone rooting for each other. Everybody
gorgeous,
wanting to help each other. Everybody relating that they can't go help their grandma. I hope that through this record, and I hope that through the conduit that is me, that I can do whatever I can to just, be a citizen of the world. I was born this way. This is how I am. I feel this way. And and help to shape and shift culture in a way that is kind. I'm sure that it's no surprise for maybe me, but I'm probably going to go to every gay club that I can find when I'm allowed to go, and hug and kiss every human that I come in contact with.
Oh my God, I'm going to New York.
Because I just love people so much, and I hope that the world knows that. But holistically, as a planet, I think we're really beautiful, and I think when hard things happen,
It's beautiful.
we really rally and support each other.
Yeah. Such a beautiful sentiment to end the interview on. I mean, you can't have an interview at the moment without talking about Corona and this message of spreading kindness to the point where it's rebellious. Is a really interesting concept to think about. It's a real beautiful sentiment to frame the entire album of self-kindness and healing. Because if you heal yourself, you can then spread kindness to other people. Wow, that was so interesting to watch. I'm kind of glad I left it until after I'd heard the album. I think going and watching this interview after has proved that way I felt about the album, it was intended. It was designed that way. I connected with moments in the album where my story resonated with Lady Gaga's story, and it's just like, it's so brilliant that the clarity and emotion came through. The production was out there, but allowed us to hear the lyrics. It allowed us to hear the feeling of each song. Now it appears that it translated perfectly. I wasn't expecting it to get that deep. It really made me think about the way in which I make music. It really made me think about the way in which I interact with other people, and it really made me think about my own demons and how I've managed to use music to get through them as well. For us as viewers, it's really fascinating to see into the mind of a big pop star like this. And I think for us as a listener, now going back and being able to listen to Chromatica, having heard all of that, it's going to elevate the album to new emotional highs for us. This channel is all about songwriting. It's all about digging into how people make music and what we can take from the music we hear. And watching an interview like this where they really dig into the story behind making of the album is so fascinating for me, and I hope that you guys can take something from it too. For everything pop music, songwriting, and really understanding and listening to music in a different way, please subscribe and please consider giving a like, because it really gives the video a lot of traction. It's been absolutely wonderful to be able to connect with you all so far. Leave your comments and thoughts down below. This is a really good discussion piece. Is this how you see the world? Did it really inspire you? Post a comment below and let's talk about it. Let's communicate. Yeah, thanks for watching to the end. Bye!